Streaming on Amazon Prime and Fox's Tubi TV. Tubi TV, it's free TV. You got 2 seasons to watch, so, you can take a nap. It's fine, as long as you let it run. Cool. Anyway, I have a fantastic guest today. He is a financial advisor. He was a chef in the Army. And if we're lucky, we might be able to get him to rap for us. He owns a company called, and I'm going to make sure that I say this right. As soon as I can find it in my notes, because I lost it. Mind Fact Tech.
There you go. I was going to whisper it.
Yeah. Mind Fact Tech. That's MINDFACTEK. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Cray. What's up, Anthony?
What's going on, everybody? How you doing, Reyshan?
Oh, I'm chilling. It's actually quite nice. I'm in Savannah, Georgia. Where are you at right now?
I'm in the beautiful state of Maryland on the eastern shore
of
Maryland. Big distinction.
You got, is that soft shell crab area?
That is soft shell crab. That is the beaches of Ocean City and Delaware. That is, I can't say gumbo. That's more Louisiana. But we have our own little mixtures of things that we make with the seafood. And people just make up their own names. It's all seafood. Mama Crystal's crabs. I mean, there's a shop not too far from here that's called Big Bubba's. I mean, people are really innovative like that. But it's all shrimp, crab.
Yeah, I got a buddy who lives up. I'm not sure where exactly in Maryland. A little further north, I think. And they run a crab boat. So. They're out there every morning, 4 a.m, cruising out in the ocean to pull out the traps.
Yeah, man. Crabs are like in the bay, Chesapeake Bay. The bay is a big area. Right under the Bay Bridge, see a lot of boats.
Nice. What's the temperature like right now? We're rocking a good 63 in February right now.
We're a tad bit under 50 degrees right now.
That's not too bad.
Oh, wait a minute. I lied. We're 56.
Oh, it's springtime.
Nah.
Nice.
It's humid, but it's not. The humidity level does make it feel like a lot warmer than what it really is, though. I love it. It reminds me of Florida.
But with better seafood?
Yeah, well,
Because
brother.
Maryland's waters stay at a cooler temperature, right? So you get a longer season.
Okay, we'll give you that because we're a little further up north.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the Mason-Dixon line is. So we got the dividing line of the north and south here. So
hey, but you can't go wrong with the soft shell crab. So
definitely not.
Anyway, we're going to talk about your days in the Army cooking, and then later we're going to get to your producing and rapping endeavors. But first, you want to tell me about your company? You want to tell me about Mind Fact Tech?
Yeah, Mind Fact Tech is basically a financial advising, insurance. Basically, I advise on financial issues, insurance issues. I have a license in the state of Maryland for life insurance. Which ties into the type of policies that I talk about, which deal with retirement. So that's why the financial part of it is another part of the life insurance part of it. So it's pretty interesting because these particular policies aren't known to the average person. I consider myself an average person, but I just went above and beyond because I'm getting older about, what am I doing with the money that I have? How can I keep it? What the heck is going on with inflation? I don't understand what it,
all that fun stuff.
Yeah, all of those questions, So I just took it upon myself to get, I guess, up to date on a few things and got a license in life insurance. So yeah, and Mind Fact Tech was born. I actually started doing computer repair. That's how it was actually born. Because in the studio, this is tying back to my music endeavors. I would run my own studio sessions. I went to IADT in Tampa, Florida for digital production. So I went down to Tampa, Florida and got like a degree in digital production. And they had it was a nice school down in Tampa in Hillsborough County. And the school offered like digital production degrees, various artsy degrees, stuff a little off the cuff a little bit. I wanted to do music, so I got an AAA associate degree in that, and they had studios there, and I learned how to set up studios.
A lot of wires.
Yeah, the MIDI, the Macintosh computers, and all that stuff. So yeah, so.
So you went from that to fixing computers?
No, I kind of reversed you a little bit. This is before MindFact Tech on the financial planning side. MindFact Tech started out with computer repair in 2010. But I didn't have repeating customers because I would fix their computer and then I essentially lose a customer because they're not going to come back again next month. So I was trying to figure out how to repeat income once I fixed somebody's computer. So I started getting into more and more services, and financial industry is what I ended up being in right now.
Nice. My dad was a computer guy back in the 80s. He built the PC clones. He got offered to invest in Microsoft in 1985, $2,000, and he turned it down.
Wow.
But putting them together and taking apart those old big clunky PCs, that was a thing.
Right. I felt kind of like Steve Jobs and Steve, what's his name, his partners and stuff when they were in the garage in California trying to figure out how can they make Apple really blow up, or how can they take these Apple computers and make them a distinctive computer from others and stuff like, because it's hard to interpret that kind of stuff because you might have a vision, but other people around you, they'll just utilize it and not really, you don't know if you can have a customer or not, on a regular basis. The tech industry is going through all kinds of turmoil right now, as you can probably see, but that's another, I'm not going to get off on a tangent.
Oh, we don't want a tangent into AI?
Yeah, that's scary. I'm not even going to say scary, but that's interesting.
I'm not going to lie. I love ChatGPT. It's one of my new favorite things. You gotta. I mean, you still got to know it's a tool, right? Like, it's not like you can't just let it do everything. But it's a fun thing to brainstorm with. If you just want to, like a toy, you're just like, hey, let me sit down and pump in a bunch of these different ideas, see what you come up with, and then take all that, mix it up, and see what you can make out of it, like clay.
Right. Yeah, I don't believe the human should be replaced with AI. I believe the AI should help the human be better. That's how I am. I'm like Batman. I like to have tools and stuff for every scenario and situation imaginable, and then I'm good. I appear to be like a superhuman or something, but it's just my knowledge of AI and different things that I can use at the moment.
They're tools.
Right.
Anyway, also tools are planning for your retirement. So I'm 44, and I honestly had never heard of or knew the difference between like term life insurance, full life insurance. I had no idea until you see that shit on Instagram and TikTok, and you're just like, oh, why did it take TikTok to be able to tell me how to plan for my future?
Exactly.
Right. But for the majority of us, we don't know about all these plans and stuff. So what's going on? What should we be doing?
Well, the IRS has made it possible for you to prepare for your retirement legally by keeping your money and using compound interest. And that's where the universal life policy comes into view with the index attached to it, which is basically it's called an IUL, Index Universal Life Policy.
All right.
So that's what distinguishes this particular policy from whole life, from any other term policy. Because to make it life insurance, you have to have that term part, like that death benefit that you qualify for based on your health, whether it's 100,000, 50,000, whatever thousand, that's the term side. And then you pay a premium to cover that, because the premium covers the cost of that term amount. Right. Now, IUL has this index part of it, so you can overpay on the premium. That money falls into it's called a cash basis or a cash pot. That cash pot is yours also, but it just accumulates more interest. It compounds 7%. Well, the market's 6.9 is what it's been for the last 20 years. So I say 6.9 to 7%. That's what your money is going to grow
over time.
When you overpay. And that's the beauty and the magic of the IUL, because you can access this money at any time, but you should let it sit there on average around 10, 15 years. So this is because of the compounding effect, and because also the insurance company charges surrender charges when you take it out early before that 10, 15 year period.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I tell people this is not something that you're going to just dump money in. It's going to grow all of a sudden magically. There's a process to it.
And it takes
time. So why not
start
early? Exactly. So why not start when you're in college, 21, 25, and all you got to do is have a mental shift. Like, okay, I do need to look out for myself when I'm 60 years old. I plan on being 60 one day.
And you can put them out on. You can put them on your kids too.
You can take them out on your kids, and that's perfect. Because that'll take care of any college expense. They could have, I don't know, almost $100,000 in cash, depending on what their life insurance is that you get the policy. Because kids are going to qualify for, because they're usually healthy.
Right. The plan is they're going to be alive for a while.
Exactly. But that's the caveat to all of this, and that's what I try to, help people out with.
So is it almost? It's basically like life insurance and like an IRA kind of rolled together.
Well, it's not IRA because that's tax deferred usually. So you're still gonna have to pay taxes. IUL, you don't pay taxes. You don't pay taxes on the growth of that compound. You don't pay taxes when you start to access it as income, and that's the 7702 IRS code. That was allotted for this particular policy. And in fact, I heard something about one of those politicians. They funded their campaign because they had an IUL that was started on them when they were younger, and it obviously had a lot of money in it. And then who was that?
Paid for the whole campaign.
The senator that got captured.
McCain?
McCain, yeah, I heard that that's what he had done.
Really? That kickstarted the whole thing when he got back from the war, huh? I guess he couldn't spend it while he was captured either, so maybe the added interest compounded that whole time he was gone, so might have worked out in his favor.
I think he had it when he was younger. His parents started on. A lot of the well-to-do people understand about these things. It's literally a lack of knowledge thing that separates the masses. It's not even so much race. It's race, and all these other caveats are like illusions that separate people because they want to use that to scare the heck out of people or whatever.
I mean, I don't know how much money I burned through in my 20s and 30s, but it was a lot. And if and as an 18-year-old, if you don't care. You're not like thinking about those things. You have generally no idea. There's no one around you that's doing this, for the most part, right?
Yeah.
And so how would we even know? And now that, TikTok and social media and Instagram and all the people out there just, having to put out these little bits of information in order to gain business, right? Free advice. Come see me when you want to actually do the real thing. It's now in the zeitgeist, finally, for younger people. Finally.
I think 7 out of 10 states don't even talk about don't educate their students on any kind of financial literacy.
I mean, when I was in high school, there was nothing. Like, I don't remember. And we didn't even have like the fake stock trading like thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like some schools did that like fake stock stuff. But no, not once is like life insurance or how to plan for the future or investing, in your future is ever spoken about in school ever. Right.
It's a shame. I don't understand it. But I do understand it, but that's another story.
I mean, right. Because why would we dare give people important information that might actually benefit them when they need to learn what sine, cosine, and tangent is instead? To this day, I have no idea what sine, cosine, or tangent mean. There was like 2 days when I had
the geometry?
When I had to take the test, and I was like, sine, cosine, and tangent, got it. Right. 3 weeks later, that was gone, and it's never come back.
Exactly.
So how much
I think
money?
I gotta be in geometry. I still was like, "What is that sine and cos?" Yeah,
Yeah, right. It's on the calculator.
isosceles.
Whatever. Isosceles triangle.
Isosceles.
Yeah, I think it's a triangle, right? Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so like someone, let's say like in their 30s, right? How much money should they be saving, putting in? What would be the price of a policy like that?
Well, see, that's when I would have to run an illustration and take the particular individual as they are. But in general,
A general healthy 30-year-old.
so if you don't smoke or have any issues, you don't have particular limits on the term side. The term side is going to determine what you can overpay because you remember this is not an investment thing, a stocks thing, or anything like that, a bond thing. It has to have that term insurance attached to that death benefit.
And for a certain amount of years.
Yeah, that's what makes it life insurance. So you must be paying some sort of premium for some life insurance. So it would be based on that person's health and their age. And then the illustration runs all the way out to their 90. And it shows if you put this much in every month, and I run these for people, I'll take a person and get their age, their actual information, how much they're looking for, what do they want to pay in a premium? Because sometimes people don't want to pay over a certain amount. They're on a budget. You don't have to have a lot of money to start this. You can start with, whatever you can afford. I mean, usually people pay $100 a month. I mean,
that's not bad. That seems super feasible.
$1,200 in a year, or what is that? Something like that.
Yeah.
On average for a premium, that could probably get you 80,000.
And then anything you're putting in over that just kind of goes into this compound interest bank pocket thing.
Yep. And you have a guaranteed limit, which means you can go above and beyond what you're paying in a premium, but it just has to be under a certain amount to keep it life insurance. Because legally, you don't want to be
dumping 30 grand on top of your $100 a month every month.
Yeah, I mean, no, this is within a year. You can pay a certain, like if you get a tax refund in the beginning of the year in March, and it's $2,000, your guaranteed limit is $3,000. Well, you could put the whole $2,000 in if you don't have bills to pay or something, or you're not trying to,
right, and just let it sit for the year.
In there. And that's going to increase what you're going to get at the end when you start taking it out, when everything levels out. Because remember, the 10, 15 years has to go by and you're not going to pay a surrender charge because everything's going to be even. What you have in the account and the surrender charge is going to be even. So that at that point on the illustration, you can start taking out and not pay a fee. You can start loaning the money to yourself. That's when people talk about be your own bank. That's what people are talking about.
So
on TikTok, be your own bank.
Yeah. That stuff.
That's what they're talking about.
So even just taking the loan out on the life insurance itself? No.
The life insurance will back up what you take out in the cash pot. So say in the cash pot, you have a certain amount accumulated after 10, 15 years. Your insurance is over 100,000. Say your insurance term that you have for this policy is 100,000. Obviously you're going to have less in the cash because you got to have less in the cash than the term.
Copy that.
So you take out, say 20,000. Say I'm gonna borrow 20. I got 80 in cash, but I'm gonna just take out 20. So you take out the 20, and you still got what's left over in there, and you don't have to pay that 20 back because you don't even have to pay it back. If you don't pay it back, you'll
it's
have
your money.
It's your money anyway, so you don't even have to pay it back. Your beneficiaries will get minus the 20,000. That's what they'll get back. If it's 100,000, they'll get 80.
So really, while you're alive, you're just taking it out. It just won't compound anymore because you withdrew it. But otherwise, everything's still in there. It's going to continue to compound if you sign up for another 15 or.
No, the weird part is once you take that 20 out, it still earns 2%. That's the weird part about IULs. So you can take that money out, use it, spend it, buy a car, do whatever, and it's like you didn't take out the 20.
What?
Because remember, the term side is like you're not even touching that. You're touching your cash part, but the insurance company only is concerned. They got $100,000 anyway on you that is designated for you, but they're going to keep 20 if you borrow from your cash side 20, and they'll just give your family 80.
But otherwise, it's still compounding. That's crazy.
That is crazy. That's how it works. It doesn't go 7%. Like if you never touched it,
right? It drops to 2%.
Like percent, you still are earning, and that's the thing about it. When people can earn on their money, whether they are doing anything with it or not, that's powerful.
Money makes money.
And you can't outwork money when it starts working. You just try to get out the way and let it work. Because you can see that when you have a debt, right? When you have a debt, say you owe $80,000, right, at 7%.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
all
people
the
are
interest.
pulling their hair out. How am I going to pay this? Oh my gosh, the payment was this. Oh, don't let me miss a payment. Then the insurance, the interest doubles.
Mm-hmm. And you're just digging a hole to China of debt.
But the rich know how to take a debt and basically write up, because they're writing off stuff. That's what people didn't understand about Trump, right? Trump had a lot of debt.
A lot. And he $500 million in bankruptcy before that to just write off for years.
And see, that's what people don't understand. That's why he was able to only pay $700, whatever it was in taxes. And they ought to know that. The senators ought to know that. I think they were just mad because he just didn't show it. Because he was being audited. He was basically telling them, I'm being audited. I don't want to show it. Which was different. And I'm not making excuses up whatever that you want to say about Trump. But think about the logic of it. And if you understand your own taxes, if you were being audited, you wouldn't want everybody in the world to see it. Your lawyers would tell you, don't go and show them this. Mm-hmm. It's not the true essence of your taxes because it's being audited. We have to get certain things together. Yeah. And that's his right to say that. I mean, just like it would be your right to say it and my right to say the same thing. So,
and an accountant and your lawyers are going to tell everybody the same thing, right? Like, but they're all using the same loopholes. Everybody uses the same loopholes. You got a good accountant, they're using the loopholes, right? Like, that's what you hired them for, to make sure that you pay as little as possible and get back as much as possible. That's the job, right?
Everybody wanted a businessman as president. Well, that's what happens in business. I'm just saying.
Yeah, fucking spot on, sir. Hey, I do my own taxes and they're a pain in the ass, so we'll see how that goes again this year. I can't deal with my stocks though, so I TurboTax it so I can just link my accounts, so they just do that all for me. I tried one year. I was like, I'll just fill out all my trades and holy shit. No, that's insane.
Crypto's even more of a headache. That's why I just stopped messing with it. Because there's a separate form for crypto. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. If you're a business person, all that applies to expenditures is the word.
Expenditures.
Because you have fees and things of that sort. Mm-hmm. You have to pay people to manage it, accountants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's all a write-off.
That offsets everything. I mean,
yeah, right.
That counts too.
I mean, I lost so much money last year when stock market dropped 67% that I won't be paying taxes this year or next year or probably the year after that. But
no, it really does double up though. If you and it goes beyond the tax year that you're in, like all the debt that you have, it just rolls over.
Yeah, because you can only claim so much each year, right? Like for me, they're like, you can claim like 8,000 of this and that's it. You're just gonna have to wait till next year. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you can claim 8,000 again this year. You just have to keep the rest till next year. Okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean, which is, once you've lost all that money, you're like, oh, well, at least I don't have to pay taxes for several years. but it makes it a little softer landing. Right. I guess when you're like, oh, well, I mean, I did lose all that, but also it's a write-off.
I'm glad I found the IUL because legally speaking, it's taxed. It's not deferred. You won't have to pay taxes on that money, on that cash.
Ever.
because of the IRS code, the 7702.
Even for the
clause.
inheritors?
Yeah, even for the inheritors, it's a clause in there. It's literally where the money that you inherit it's still an IUL. It doesn't matter. You can have benefactors. I mean, this translates over.
Cool. All right. So you were a chef in the Army?
Yeah, I was in food service. Technically, I was a food service specialist. That's what we call it.
So
military term.
So you didn't walk around calling each other chef?
No, not in the military.
Not in the military? Yes, chef. No, chef. Sir. How'd that happen? How'd you get it? How'd you end up there?
In the military. So I was in Atlanta. I used to live in Atlanta, and the story was crazy because I had the whole thing started from a car accident because I was living in Atlanta. I was doing my music, okay, because remember I said I started as doing music production, rapping, doing shows and stuff like that. So I'm literally bouncing and running into people like Outkast and all kinds of individuals just at downtown Peachtree Street, the Wu-Tang shop, all the big rappers had on Peachtree shops and different stores. I'd be in their stores meeting whoever's there, talking to them.
Shot in the Dark, 1995, 97?
98.
98? 98.
Yeah, 98. That's where the place to be was there in Atlanta. So, but I had an apartment around the Perimeter Mall, like in North Atlanta. So I had just moved there from Macon because I was my relatives was in Macon. So I moved up from Macon, Georgia. I said I wanted to get to Atlanta. I'm just going to have to just do it. Because, driving back and forth to Macon was, a good, 30, 45 minutes, depending.
Yeah, and then you got to hit the outer belt, which is just terrible. So
it might have even been more based on time of day or whatever. So I was like, I need to get into Atlanta somewhere. So I got to Atlanta, started doing that, had a car accident one night on Peachtree. A guy hit me out of nowhere and sidewinded me, hit me in the side, messed my axle up, spun the car around. I was amazed I was still alive, you know what I'm saying? After the car got hit, I spun around like the chair. I'm still here. I actually got out the car and went to a club after the car accident.
Seriously?
And pulled 2 females the same night. I don't know what I was doing.
Just left the car in the middle of the road?
With the broke car. I think I even took them somewhere in the car. And they were laughing like, you didn't come to the club with a car. They didn't believe me. And I took them out to the car. You're crazy,
It still ran, huh?
Yeah, it still ran. It was a Ford Escort. I had bought it brought it from overseas, and brought it because the Army will ship all your car and everything over within a certain time. I was going to stay over in Germany, and that's another story. Because I did a tour within the last week of me ETSing or leaving out the country. I did a 7-city tour through Heidelberg, Germany, and Holland with a guy named Malik. He was an Afghanistanian rapper. He was like a guy in a wheelchair, but he could rap German and English. His brother was with him, and a guy named Martin Mosick. He was some sort of gospel producer. We met with him. We met my manager, Matthias Dauer. He was the guy who put me in contact. He was the German guy that was my friend who put me in contact with all these people. So he loved hip hop. He wanted to be working at Def Jam Europe and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. It was really interesting though. But it was like a whirlwind situation.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And I wrote a song called Chance Meeting with Malik. And we put that song on his tour. And the hook was like, chance meeting, peace, my only greeting, hip hop culture, put us in this mix for a reason. I wrote that up. I made up that hook.
Dig it.
And that's what we said. Everybody liked it. They were like, yeah, I would yell that in English, chance meeting, peace, my only greeting, hip hop culture, put us in this mix for a reason. everybody was like, yeah,
Hell yeah.
you know. But it was like not a contract. So we did a contract between ourselves, but it was not
Official.
Well, it wasn't getting radio play, and we had just done it. And I was in this debate on leaving Germany. All this happened literally within a month. And it was just so fast. And I just gambled. And I said, well, I'm going to go back to the States because they were all young guys. They didn't know the industry. They weren't really the people with the money. They were cool to hang around with. But I was thinking, my car, I had just bought it over in Germany. I had some bills. I'm a little older than them, and I'm kind of thinking long term. And I'm like, well, I got to make a gamble and come back to the States then because I was living with my German girlfriend at the time, and she was 19. She was younger than me. And it was
Good job, sir.
I don't think she really understood the whole scope of what was going on. So I just decided, I'm going to just say, peace, guys. Let's keep in contact, and all of that. Dap them up. And I'm going to come back to the USA. And that's how I got back here, 2001. I've been back here ever since.
Nice. So you didn't have to, you got out of the military in 2001 too?
Yeah, I got out of the military.
Good timing.
Yeah, all this happened within a month of me leaving. Yeah.
But
it was a build-up over the 2 I was there like 3 years. So these people I had met almost when I first got there and didn't, how things build up and build up and build up. And they all knew that I love music and they all love music. And we were always running into like the Roots or like Common Sense or somewhere at the Hot Bun Hoff or somewhere. They would come to the train station in the back room over here and there would be a party. And it was wild, man. Germany was like that.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you had a good time over there.
Oh, without a doubt. Germany was definitely it taught me a lot about business because, of course, CDs were made. I was making my own CDs. This is where marketing, pressing up stuff, talking to people, self-promotion, understanding the entrepreneurial part of being a business person came into play for me. So, because I was actually doing these things, hand to mouth in it, so to speak.
I think that was a common thread across a lot of boards during the CD craze, right? Because all of a sudden, we could make our own, right? And I know people who literally just bought big stack CD burners, could burn like 20 CDs at a time, right? And that's what they started their businesses that way, right? Just
a lot of guys did it. Rockefeller Records did it. Jay-Z's company and Damon Dash, Jay-Z couldn't get a record deal going into the offices, knocking on people's door. Because a lot of times they didn't understand it, what he was trying to do. And when people don't understand something, the executives and stuff,
do it yourself.
They're not going to understand it and they're not going to put their money in it. So you have to prove it to them some kind of way that this was your loss. You should have jumped on it when I was telling you about it and just had faith in it. Mm-hmm. See, that's that conversation that you have with people when it happens, and then the people are like, I don't know, this guy, I don't like the way he scratched his nose. There's something about the way he scratched his nose. And people will find whatever excuse and be like, that's fine, whatever. Okay. Then later on they regret it because the guy goes and blows up and you could have stopped staking it and didn't even, whatever. So
that's on them. They fucked up royally. Royally. You mean the king? You passed on the king? No, that was stupid. Yeah. But now now it's all Spotify and the apps, trying to get it out, putting all your music on TikTok, all the people making their own little videos pretending to be different people, but they're the same person, they're just their producer in the room. Now you got to do all these things, which I think maybe is bringing the music video back. I'm not sure.
I've tried to mess around with it, but I use my music for my own marketing reasons. I'm so into what I'm doing now, helping people with the life insurance, because to me, it's a real thing that I can help people with, and it's important. And I just feel like that it's wrong for people not to at least know about that information so they can make a good decision. Right. For those. I wish I had somebody tell me about it when I was 20 and 30 years old. I don't even know if it was in existence then because it was 70s. So
I mean, I would have bought myself term life insurance, like, or not term, but like whole life insurance back when I was 20. Had anybody told me that this is a thing that I could do, I would have definitely done it because it's not that much money. And now at 44, I'd be set. Right?
Right.
Right. But I didn't
You
know.
would have a lump somewhere. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I can borrow off of it. I could start businesses. I could do all kinds of shit that my money could have been working for me this whole time instead of, I don't know, paying somebody's Uber ride.
Yeah, taking loans out. Exactly.
Yep. Be your own bank.
That's where the interest is working against you.
Yeah, we want the interest in our favor, right? That's the goal.
Exactly. Without
Major
a doubt.
goal.
Without a doubt.
So real quick, how was the food in the Army?
So really, it was we had the best of the best. Thanksgiving, Christmas, you name it. I mean, our cooks were phenomenal. So that's why the people that I speak to is definitely food service people, like with the life insurance, because I understand how rough it can be about not having benefits and stuff like that. But our food we had the best of the best. We shipped in turkeys. I mean, the PX over there was just like Walmart or the best stores over here. It was crazy.
Man, did you ever go on to any other like bases of like different country bases and have their food or anything?
Well, that was when the Croatia situation was going on. So I was basically sending stuff down to, our forces down there. I was some part of the quartermaster corps that was sending stuff down there. So it was being sent to them, from Germany and stuff like that, like food, supplies, and different stuff like that. So.
Do you have a favorite Army meal that you're like, that was that?
I like doing stuff on those immersion. We had a thing called immersion heaters.
Mm-hmm. In the water?
Yeah, the immersion heaters that would heat the water up so you could have hot water wherever you were. Because you need hot water, right? For a lot of reasons. Coffee, cleaning stuff, wiping stuff down. Without that hot water,